Okay, let's get after it today. Today we're just going to talk about some things that will help you get involved and get your own cleaning business started. We can call this like a step-by-step startup guide. Okay, first thing you want to think about is you're going to get into cleaning business, but there's a lot of different cleaning businesses you can get into. Are you going to start? And answer this down in the comments, okay? And so I can help you to come up with a little bit more consistent and practical focused plan to get you into the cleaning business. Okay, that's what you want. I don't think anybody they want to just clean and they don't want to try to make any money. Would you agree with that? Go down in the comments and answer that question. I think you're here because of the money, right? And it's not that cleaning is an unenjoyable process. It can be very enjoyable. It's like one of the most kind of mindfulness exercises that you can do. Of course, you want to be efficient. You want to be fast, but you want to be efficient. So, first of all, pick a niche, whether it's residential, whether it's commercial cleaning. I had a commercial cleaning business, I had a residential cleaning business, and I had a window cleaning business, and I also had a pressure washing or house cleaning business. So I had four different types of activities going on within my cleaning business. Also had a move in, move out cleaning aspect to it. I would go to large apartment complexes and I would set a price on these apartments, and me and my wife would go clean those. Or later on, I would send people to go clean those apartments that people had moved out of, and the apartment owner wanted to get them clean so that he could rent it again. Okay, so there's all kinds of things. You can get into carpet cleaning. I personally wouldn't recommend it. It's for some people, but it's a huge investment that you have to make. And we're talking about starting a cleaning business on a shoestring here and being able to get into a business that you can make a full-time income, in pretty short order, to be honest about it. One of the first things I would do, and you could do this within 3 to 6 months, you could do it right away, is form an LLC, a limited liability corporation. It's not complicated. Any tax preparer, any accountant can set one of these up. Don't pay over $100 to set one of these up. They don't. My first one I set up, my bookkeeper, she was doing our employees, all of our salaries and stuff, our wages, and she set it up for like $50. So you can do that. Just ask around, get on Google and say, how do I get an LLC set up? And there used to be a real famous one, I can't remember what it was, but it was advertised on the radio a lot, and that was expensive. But they can be done for less than $100. That's something you really need, because here's why. And this is why corporations are good. And an LLC is the cheapest way and the less maintenance, as far as you'll really only have to do something once a year, just file a little report. So say you're out somewhere and you have an employee and working and they trip and fall and they could sue you. Yeah, they could. But if they work for an LLC, they can only sue the LLC. They can't sue you personally. And that's the way I run. I run with what's called an S corporation. I'm not saying you should get into that, but I'm saying that and down the road, that's something you should look into. But start out with an LLC. That'll be fine. Also, a couple of things you need to get handled. You need to be bonded, and you need to be bonded. That costs you about $100 a year. It's an insurance policy. Go to a commercial insurance broker or insurance agent and ask about getting a bond for your business. Also, very important to get business insurance. These are things that will protect you and from any kind of liability. It's just going to help you in so many cases. Now, I never really had to use my insurance, and I thank God for that every day, but it was there in case something happened. A bond is like, I'll just say it like this, like if you have an employee out there and they're in a house cleaning and they steal some jewelry, or they break something expensive. That's where that bond comes in. It's going to cover you that way. So, yeah, you need a bond, and you also need a general liability policy for your business insurance, and that's going to cover you. And talk to your agent about the different ways it's going to. I'm not here to tell you explain insurance, but you need an LLC, you need a bond, and you need general liability insurance for your business. And also, if you start hiring employees, you're going to have workman's comp insurance, and that gets a little hairy. So let's get started first. Let's get some money. And me and my wife were able to start the cleaning business and be able to live well just on the money from our own efforts before we really hired any employees. So, all the other things, worry about those things when you come to them. Another thing you're going to need to do is get a business account at your bank. Do not use your personal account. That's going to get you into trouble. Believe me, just do that. Your first few paychecks, put in there and start a fund where you can start operating out of. At this point, when you're first starting your business and you've bought your $200 worth of supplies, you should be able to get by on that for a good while and develop a decent sum of money, maybe a couple $1,000s in that business account. So before you hire any employees, get a business account. Before you start taking paychecks, make it pay into that checking account. It's going to be the name of your LLC. It's going to be the name of your business. So that way all the money goes to the business. You want to make sure of that, believe me. I would recommend, it's just what we did. A lot of people do business different than I did, but I would recommend that you don't do any financing. You don't borrow any money for anything. Now just start low. I always say, people used to ask me, well, how did you afford the capital to get started in a business? It's like, I didn't hire a venture capitalist to go collect money for me. And people always say that's a sexy word, I guess. Well, I got to get some capital. I got to do a business plan, and a business plan is good. And I got to go to my financial vendors out here and get capital to start my business. What you're going to do, you're going to be a very inexperienced person. You're not going to learn the ropes. You're going to get that big chunk of money, and you're going to go through that money, and you're going to have a big debt without any serviceable income coming into that business. Don't do that. I want you to be successful. I had almost $1 million cleaning business, $1 million a year in revenue. I never borrowed any money for the business. A couple of times I borrowed for a piece of equipment. I had a huge account, and I bought a floor cleaner that you ride on, and I paid it off in about 6 months. But that's about the only time I ever borrowed any money from a bank for my business. Don't do it, I'm telling you. Because what you're going to do, as you're doing it on a shoestring, you're going to learn how to operate that business. You're going to learn what works for you, what doesn't work for you, before you get a big debt over it. You don't need that kind of stress in your life with a big financial commitment and you don't have any idea about the business. You may actually get in this business and find out it's not for you. Well, what if you went out and got financing and you found out it's not for you? That's a burden you do not want to have, I'm telling you. Okay, let's say you start a residential cleaning business. More people are watching it, more women are watching this channel than men right now. So I'm going to say a lot of women in the house cleaning business. It's a good business. I'll tell you a couple things that I like about it. It's the fastest cash that you can get. That's just one thing. When you go to that house and you've done your estimate and you get an appointment to go in and clean that house, at the end of that time, you can expect payment. Okay? I'm not going to get into how you're going to bid it yet. But understand, house cleaning business is a good business. Number one, it's immediate, fast cash. Number two, the hours are great. They're between basically 8 o'clock and 5 o'clock in the evening. You're going to be in that house and you're going to be out of that house before the people get back home, hopefully. I never really liked cleaning when somebody was home, but don't let that bug you. Just go ahead and go about your business like you would any other time. But yeah, you're going to pick up that check at the end of your work. It'd be 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, and you have a check in your hand for $100 that you're going to go to your bank later, and you're going to deposit in your business account in the name of your business. You've got a going business. Guess what? If you do a good job, you're going to come back the next week, or you're going to come back in 2 weeks and do that same thing again, and you're going to get another $100 or $150, depend on the house. We'll talk about how to do an estimate later. That's a good thing, good question. One thing I want you to avoid is just providing a flat rate for anything. You're going to go in and estimate these houses where it's going to be profitable for you. Don't say, no, I work for $10 an hour, I work for $12, I work for $15 an hour. Don't say that. Go in, get an estimate, do your estimate, and then you give the price per cleaning. It's on a per cleaning per cleaning. It's just per cleaning. If the house costs you, you say it's going to cost you $100 to clean your house, and it takes you 3 hours, well, you've made $33 an hour. And that's very doable, very, very doable. Probably that may be low in this day. You take companies like Mary Maids, probably heard of them. They're probably the largest, maybe, residential cleaning business that there is, and they're a franchise. They charge out the you-know-what to these customers. They go in and they have a big razzle-dazzle, and you know, they fold the toilet paper just right on the roll, and they do a lot of little extras, and you might study them, go online, so, you know, how does Mary Maids operate? Study their process and implement. If you go in with a superior product, you can actually ask for a superior price, and your actual price per hour that you're getting can go up as high as $50 an hour. A lot of electricians don't make that kind of money. Okay, this video is not too long. I don't want it to be too long, but I'm going to just touch on equipment and supplies. And I spoke about this in another video, but if this is the only video you watch, then I'll give it to you right here. You can buy less than $200 worth of cleaning equipment for your business. The most expensive is going to be a decent vacuum. I started my business with about a $29 vacuum. I don't think they sell them for $29 anymore, but this was years ago. They're going to be at least $50. So that's going to be a little chunk of money for you, okay? Then you're going to buy, you buy what you want, but Pine Sol in the bottle, the purple stuff, or the yellow stuff, is a pretty good cleaner. It actually does a pretty good job. And you can mop floors with it, you can clean bathrooms with it, and I'll tell you a little tip that goes a long way. You buy some plastic spray bottles, good quality. Go to a cleaning supply store and buy you 4 or 5, 6 of them, okay? And then you take that purple Pine Sol and you put about this much in the bottom, and then you fill the rest up with water. That will clean kitchens, that will clean bathrooms, that'll clean any hard surface you want to clean. And then you still have that bottle with you of Pine Sol, and you pour a little bit in the bottom of a bucket, and you mop the floor and get it nice streak-free and dry. I mean, for about $3, you could probably clean off of that thing for a good week. And you know, you're going to need Windex, you're going to need some microfiber towels. I wouldn't clean with anything but good microfiber towels. You can buy them at Sam's Club for about $15 to $20 for a big bundle. I wouldn't use anything else, okay? So that's basic, just some cleaning stuff, like countertops, sinks, refrigerators. Get you a little can of stainless steel cleaner for a refrigerator, and make sure that thing looks really beautiful when you get done. Yeah, that's just a nice touch. But yeah, a vacuum cleaner, microfiber towels, some all-purpose cleaner, some Pine Sol, you're good to go. And you will find things that you're going to need. One other thing I'll tell you real quick. One of the best things I ever had in the cleaning business, and one of the hardest things I could ever convince people to use, is a duster. Now, when we first started, we bought Swiffer dusters, and they do great, okay? But if you're running through a lot of houses, you're going to be spending a lot of money on Swiffer dusters because they don't give those things away. They're pretty expensive. But you get these long, telescopic, they're just like little plastic, they look like little plastic, it looks like a rainbow. It's kind of like hairs, plastic hairs coming out. And you use that, and we can talk about techniques later, but you use that to dust with. And you always dust before you do the floor. If you knock the dust off of everything, it goes to the floor. What's the last thing you want to do before you leave a room? You want to vacuum that room. So any dust that's fallen, you can dust it out. If you have a little narrow area like between a desk or a table and a refrigerator, maybe a cabinet and a desk, and it's only about that wide, you can't get back in there and sweep that or clean that out. But that little duster, it's got an extension rod on it. You can clean that thing right out. It's the handiest thing. You can extend it out. You can quickly dust baseboards with it if they're not too bad. You do them once a month, you're good to go. That's one of the best tools. And I could talk about tools all day, but this is just basically, if you're focused on a residential business, don't overthink everything. Just get those few items that I talked about. You're going to figure, you're smart. Not too many dumb people try to get into a business for themselves. You know, you're tired of working for somebody else. I was about 41 years old when I walked off my job, and I never felt a peace like that in my whole life as far as my work life goes. I was so glad to get out of my job, and it really worked out well for me and my family. I retired probably 4 years earlier than I would have, and I moved to another country. I sold my businesses, you know, so I know this stuff works. I know it works, and I know you can do it too. If you'll apply yourself in the right way, you'll get more confidence as days go by. So anyway, this is Randall. I'm done with this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.